All right, welcome to episode 10 of Back to the Barbell. This is probably the highest intensity week that I will have for the rest of the meso, but it was really good overall. First set you're seeing here is 295. This is the first set of a 3x6 at 7 to 8. No complaints here, so I went up to 335. First rep, pretty good. Second rep, you'll see my mid-back breakdown form just slightly. Not bad, but then the third rep here is where it starts to go, and then the fourth, fifth, and sixth reps just get worse from there. I realize that I'm having issues as I go for my anything above probably 315. My mid back just can't quite keep up, so that's something I take into my next set. I'm gonna go ahead and drop all the way down to 275, really focusing on keeping my back roughly the same position from rep 1 to rep 6, and I succeed. So that makes, as you see, the floor, off the floor to about mid-shin, a little slower, but the lockout portion is super quick, super speedy, which is where me and pretty much anybody else is going to fail the deadlift. Some people end up failing off the floor, but I find it more common to fail towards the top. So that was it for deadlift. And then for bench, I had 155 here for my first set of a 3x6, also at 7 to 8. Felt a little heavy, a little bit off balance, so I dropped to 145 for the last two sets. I didn't film the first set of 145, I forgot, but overall, pretty good bench day, especially considering how fatiguing that 335 on deadlift was. And then we move over to squats. Managed to hit 225 for the first set, really buried it. So I was like, okay, I'll bring up depth a little bit and I'll go up to 245 for my second set. So I was able to kind of nip the depth problem I've had in the bud. I think nip the bud. Yeah, I've fixed that problem. I don't have that issue anymore. I might even be going too low. So my goal in the future is actually going to be able to keep it just at depth. But here's 245. Went really well. This is the best 245s ever moved. And I pretty much got my balance figured out. I pretty much got my positioning figured out. There's still slight deviations you'll see from this week, the end of the week, and even into the subsequent weeks. But overall, pretty good. The variation in reps is much less significant than it was towards the beginning of the block. As you'll see, maybe that rep before, I think I felt a little off balance, so I looked down and I was like, what's going on with my feet? Probably shouldn't do that. I think you should just kind of lock in and keep going. And then I went disking on Wednesday. You see the round here. And then Thursday, I went skateboarding. Did not film it. I was only there for like 10 minutes, but I got a little bit of time back on my board. And then I did 295 for my top set on Friday. You're seeing the second set, that was 275, and then this is the third set. I just did like the first three and the last three of the set. This was a really good day, but 295 ended up being my top set. I didn't film it because I thought it was going to be my last warm-up, and then I was like, okay, well, let's just stay strict here, and I made sure that I did not overshoot. If anything, I may have undershot, but that was another 3x6 at 7 to 8. And then we have bench here. I managed to do 155 for all three sets of 6. Might be a volume PR, but it definitely was really nice to have them all right around RP 7. I don't think any of them felt like RP 8, which is totally fine. The beginning of the week was pretty fatiguing on me. So the only difference in my technique here is, as you can see, my foot is in front of my knee on that last set, pretty much lined up top to bottom on this set. And on the first set, my foot was behind my knee. I need to get that figured out because those variations will feel quite different once I'm doing heavy triples and singles, especially when I'm doing higher frequency. It'll punish me. And then we have a squat set here, squat 3x5 again here. I didn't mention it, but that's what I did earlier in the week, 3x5. At 7 to 8 as well. Managed to take 225 for all three sets. I think everything was to depth. I didn't film one of the sets. I've been having a lot of issues with memory on my phone because I'm filming these longer form videos. But I just wanted to get more of the work in here because I'm doing so much volume. That's going to be it for the video. All my links for this channel and the others are in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.